On guys, you're checking out an all new the RCWR show. We're coming at you for Monday night of April 20th, 2020. Raw, a couple of minutes removed. Gotta say, going through the motions for this one. It's been a good minute since I found myself going through the motions of a Raw episode. This one was kind of so. I don't know. You gotta excuse me. Maybe I need to disqualify myself because I am still riding off of what has been without a doubt a phenomenal season of Better Call Saul, probably its most strongest season to date, honestly. And, don't take my word for it. There's actually some of your favorite wrestlers. If you happen to follow them on social media, I know Matt Hardy comes to mind, Hurricane Shane Helms, big fans of the Better Call series. This is a series I have been behind since day one. And I remember when I jumped out there and I was saying to people within the first season, I said, man, I've been enjoying this a little bit more than Breaking Bad because it has more character development. It has more storyline, and it's not always about the shoot 'em up violence and everything. And some people were looking at me going, man, what are you smoking? You crazy? Nah, dog. Breaking Bad is better, but it's been a crazy roller coaster. Tonight we had, during the second hour of WWE Raw, we had the season finale of Better Call Saul, and that actually went about an hour and 25 minutes. So I said on Twitter, I hope Raw can really reel me in for the first hour, because if they can, I'm definitely going to be representing, because I want my cable box in watching Better Call Saul finale in real time. I want it to count towards the overall viewership and everything. I want to give it a strong number if Raw wasn't really banging the first hour. And the first hour for me for Raw tonight was just I don't know how it was for you guys, but for me it was Normally I hit you guys with a poll, but we aren't going to do a poll this week. There is a more important poll that I have on YouTube. You can find it on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab, and I'm asking you guys, what would you like to see happen with regards to the Wednesday night show? Head over there. All the information you need is there. That's pretty much the only poll I'm going to be really focused on for this week. But for me, I would say Raw this week, so episode. Put it this way. If you didn't watch it, maybe you were tied up with work or some errands, whatever was going on with you, you didn't really miss anything. And that's the honest truth. But we got a lot of stuff that we could talk about. I think tonight, as far as some of the key points I want to bring about from Raw, I think this is going to be one of those nights where it's going to be another short show where what did we do last time? I think we did about an hour and 15 minutes, but we got a loaded episode. If you checked out the episode description already, we're going to be talking about Michael Jordan's The Last Dance, the first two episodes, as those finally, we've been hearing so much about it over the past several months. Finally, it dropped. And I just feel this is something that we all need as a nation right now. The timing of this, it couldn't be any better. So as a former Chicago native for many, many years, definitely was there when Jordan first got drafted by the Chicago Bulls, seen everything that was going down there. I'm looking forward later on in the show and reflecting on some of what all had came about during those first two episodes. So it's a fun-loaded episode that we got planned for you guys. So pull up a comfy seat, or hopefully you're kicking back in that recliner or your sofa, enjoying yourself. You can watch the show a lot of ways. You know that, right? If you got your cable satellite provider and you got the YouTube app, you can watch that way on your TV, or you can watch on your tablet, your phone. So many cool ways that you can that's probably been really one of the most coolest things on the flip side, looking at a more positive light of everything that's been going on with this pandemic, is now more than ever, all of us around the world, technology that we otherwise would not make the investment in because I won't be using that, don't particularly care for that. Now, because of what's going on with this pandemic, it's pretty much forced us all to adapt to this technology, people of all ages. And I tell you, when I was working in market research, one of the things that I would come across when I was organizing focus groups and everything. And from time to time, I would have to put a study together where we were talking technology, and we had to gauge people on how tech savvy some of them felt. It was amazing how over the years up to this point, up until when the pandemic broke out, it was amazing how many people that were, I would say, 50 and up fully did not embrace the technology that's out there. You'd be surprised. I know I said 50 and up, but for sure when you hit 60 and up, but you actually had a decent amount of people in their 50s that would not embrace all the true capabilities that their phones were capable of, or their tablets, things of that nature, knew nothing about Skype, Zoom, Google Hangout, none of that stuff. And with this pandemic, it's forced people to, okay, let me see what's going on with this technology that previous years wouldn't give two flying craps about, and pretty much go from there. So it's been amazing, and I gotta tell you, I think going forward, kind of following up on what I had talked about on a Wrestling with the Topics with Tams a few weeks ago. Actually, no, I don't think we officially mentioned it on there. It was actually side chatter, but I remember when I was mentioning it to her, I said, don't be surprised if after this pandemic is over, that as far as all those latest gadgets, if there is a significant spike, because you've had so many people that are working remotely from home, embracing this technology now, and now they're saying, you know what, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's not as overwhelming. It's not over my head as I thought it would be. It's actually pretty damn good. Okay, cool. So yeah, but I think that's kind of cool how we're all adapting to the technology now and everything. It's good shit, man. Good shit. But yeah, we got a fun show for you tonight, man. It's gonna be cool. Appreciate how you guys check out the show as always, be it live, on demand, or on the downloads. If you hear a little bit of barking or maybe a little bit of a whimper in the background, my poor little furry daughter is sick. I think she might have a UI. So we're trying some home remedies to see how that might work out for her. And hopefully everything is good. Otherwise, we're probably going to have to take her to the vet and see if they can do something. That is assuming that we got vets open, because I never, no bullshit, I haven't researched if veterinarian clinics are open during this time. I would think they are, because you could kind of make the argument that they are essential businesses, are they not? I know you got Right Times that's open, Right Time clinics, stuff like that, but I would like to believe veterinary clinics are open. But hopefully it doesn't come to that, because when you're coming out of pocket, that can be really, really expensive. It's been weird what's going on with her, because she's not eating her food, and she has not eaten her food. She's creeping up on a week now. She's creeping up on a week. I think this Wednesday will actually make a full week, but she's still wagging her tail. She loves all things junk food, especially chips. Anything chips, even if it's popcorn. She likes anything chips. But you know something is up when she's not even eating the chips. And you're going, wait, what the hell's going on? The only thing she will do is her treats, which is consisting of a jambone, a bacon strip, or a milk bone. One of those three she'll do. And other than that, she's pretty much, I'm good. She's still full of energy. She's still bouncing around, wants to play, wagging her tail with excitement, all of that. But she's not eating her food. So my girl said, I found her kind of licking herself around the crotch area more frequently than usual. So that's why my girl's thinking that maybe what we have is a UI. Now, she did, I think it was maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday and the day before, she's eating a scrambled egg. Little tip for you guys. If your dog, I don't know if it'll work on cats, but when it comes to your dog, if your dog's got an upset stomach, oldest trick in the book, you just boil up an egg. Take your pick. You can either boil up the egg or you can scramble the egg. You don't need to add no butter. Don't add no salt. Don't add no black pepper, because you're making it how you want to eat it. Just take either a boiled egg, put it in the pot, do your thing, boil it up, or take it, put it in the skillet, and fry it up that way, scramble it up and everything. And dogs love it. They will eat that bad boy up. So she's eaten eggs at least twice. I think maybe I gotta check with the missus, but yeah. Long story short, she's not eating her food, which is weird, really, really weird. So a little concerned about that. Hopefully, she'll be all right. But so you guys excuse me if I hear a little bit of a noise and I decide, if you want, I can actually. I know those of you that listen to the audio version of the show, you're not going to be able to see it, which really you should be checking out the webcast version as a result, because we have a lot of fun. I'm so animated when I'm doing the webcast and everything. I can actually have her make a little bit of a cameo for you guys real quick here, and she's literally right behind me. Hey, Mag, come here, little buddy, come here. Want to make a cameo for everybody? Come here, come on, don't be shy. Come here, make a little cameo real quick. Oh, daddy's little girl. So we got her making a little cameo here. Say hey, everybody. Say hey. Say hey. You want to look at the eye? Look at the eye. Look at the eye. There you go. Oh, that's close enough. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the other thing that's been going on with her, I was kind of noticing, she's been, I definitely think it is a UI, because we've been actually taking her to the bathroom a lot more, now that I think about it. She's been going every 2 to 3 hours, but it kind of seems like after midnight, she's kind of good for the night. So it's got to be a UI. It's got to be. So hopefully, I'm like this. If things don't get resolved by Wednesday, then yeah, we're going to have to see about taking her to a vet or somebody here. All right, so we saw a couple of matches that were announced for Monday's Raw last week take effect this week. Remember, we had previewed some of those matches for you guys. It was Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Raw has essentially filled out their men's Money in the Bank side. SmackDown pretty much has to do their thing. We also saw the Raw side of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We saw that fill out tonight, as well as, once again, the ball is being turned over to SmackDown, which, by the way, programming note, I do want to share with you guys, this coming Friday, after SmackDown goes off the air, I will do a special one-time Friday night edition of the RCWR show, because after all, it's culminating in the 25th anniversary celebration of the game Triple H. 25 years, hard to believe. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, we said we were going to do a countdown of some of my favorite Triple H moments and everything. I think we'll go on ahead and we'll officially begin that on Wednesday's show. We'll have it go into Friday, and then we'll have it wrap up on Monday, since it's supposed to be a 2-night event kicking off on this Friday's SmackDown. But I will be live after SmackDown goes off the air. SmackDown is not the only thing we're going to be talking about, but at the core, I will be talking about the Triple H 25th anniversary special, which, by the way, shout out to my WWE Supercard fans. If you guys are playing WWE Supercard, hopefully you've been playing the game up until this point. You guys, if you did, you would have reached your 21-day milestone, and upon reaching that 21-day milestone event, you'd have gotten your game Triple H card back. That looks pretty cool. It has a nice, cool Degeneration X vibe to it. And also, we're in the middle of a quest right now. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing with these Easter eggs. Yeah, they're pointless. I kind of have the impression that maybe we should be sitting on these because they're going to be part of some type of a special fusion or whatever. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. Otherwise, they are just throwaway cards. But yeah, really, really weird what's going on with. I see a lot of people complaining about those egg cards that they're getting right now. But yeah, we saw a couple of matches that had played out tonight on Monday Night Raw. I think the timing of Drew McIntyre as a champion right now, I think the timing kind of sucks because he's really not able to feed off of the crowd. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm really not liking about his current run right now. If I had any type of criticism whatsoever, just be it small, and it's a small one. It's the fact that Drew can't really feed off of the crowd right now, and how I wish that we had fans that were in attendance right now for these shows, because I'm curious if we're still in that honeymoon period with Drew McIntyre and he is still receiving all the love and jubilation, or is it a case now where, okay, well, we've been experiencing you for a couple of weeks now, and yeah, we're kind of ready for something else. I can't help but raise that question for the simple fact, I won't say I never really realized, because that would kind of be a naive thing to say, but what I will say is, what a difference a crowd makes as far as making or breaking somebody's career. You heard all of the great buzz that and support that was coming from Drew McIntyre leading up to that WrestleMania match with Lesnar and everything, and you can't deny the fans are in his favor, and it was like that a couple of months before. But I'm just curious right now how the fans are really, and maybe I kind of owe it to myself the next go round to actually, because I was doing a lot of multitasking tonight, so I really couldn't pay attention to social media like that to see what everybody was thinking about Drew and everything. But the little bit that I did see out there on the timeline, on my respective timeline, it kind of seemed like it was 50-50. You had 50% that didn't particularly care for Drew, and you had the other 50% that was kind of going, he looks good, looks like a mega bucks and everything, but, so how I missed the crowd in a nutshell. But Drew McIntyre tonight, main event match that he had going on, as they were setting up his match against, if I remember it right, I think it was Andrade that he was taking on. I'm actually just looking at my notes here real quick. It was Drew McIntyre taking on Angel Garza. I apologize. It was Drew McIntyre taking on Angel Garza. Non-title matchup. But we did see Drew McIntyre open up the show, kicking things off, was challenging Seth Rollins to a match for the championship at Money in the Bank in about less than 3 weeks. And as far as getting some type of a rebuttal from Seth Rollins, we did not get that, at least at that point during the opening of the show. Instead, we actually saw Zelina Vega come out with Austin Theory and Hector Garza. And Zelina was trying to put the focus on, hey, you're looking ahead, Drew. You need to be thinking about the match going down later on tonight. You need to be thinking about that. And Drew McIntyre got hit from behind. Who hit him from behind too? Andrade. Andrade had hit him from behind. How Drew did not hear that is beyond me, because if there was, I'm a stickler for detail, so you guys gotta forgive me, but it's one thing and see, this is where the crowd makes the difference. What may sound like a really good idea on paper is actually not a good idea when you see it come to fruition, because if you are in a empty arena and there are no fans in attendance, there's no cheers, there's no boos, there's no heckling, there's nothing going on, and you're standing there in an empty arena, in the ring, in an empty arena, and you're listening to somebody talk, and it's so quiet you can literally hear when somebody has had too much Taco Bell and they're breaking wind like a mofo. How do you not hear Andrade coming from behind to attack your ass is beyond me. They should have done that a little bit differently. You still could have had a scenario play out where Angel Garza, or correction, Andrade, sorry, I'm getting my A's mixed up, where Andrade, for a little bit, gets the upper hand on Drew, but then, you like the way I would have liked if WWE would have had Andrade get ready to attack Drew. Drew hears it, and he's able to, just in time, and they're fighting. Andrade gets the upper hand for just a hot minute, but then it's all on Drew, and it can still play out the way it ultimately had played out and everything. But we didn't see Austin Theory, nor did we see Angel Garza try to come to the aid of their boy Andrade. They pretty much just left dude hanging and everything. And this pretty much had went into a nice smooth transition after a commercial break where we saw Aleister Black take on Austin Theory. Here's another problem that I have. So already within the first 20 minutes of Monday Night Raw, a couple of issues here that kind of have me scratching my head wondering what is WWE thinking right here. So you get this match with Aleister Black taking on Austin Theory. Now you go, okay, so what could possibly be wrong with that match, Lee? Nothing. But guess who we have on commentating? We have Zelina Vega on commentating. And as we all know in real life, she and Aleister Black are an item. So I thought it was rather weird that they had Zelina Vega out there commentating. I don't know what, whoever was booking this show, I don't know what they were thinking. Because everybody knows on social media, look, you don't have to be TMZ on some of these people social media profiles. You could just be following a handful of WWE superstars, and you normally see when they'll retweet something that somebody else on the roster is doing from their Instagram or whatever, or they're tagging somebody or they're replying to a WWE superstar. So, unless you're really under a rock and you're not following WWE superstars at all, like everybody knows that Black and Vega are an item. So, why we are having Zelina in this position, I thought it was very, very silly. I really wish that if there was ever a time where you could have played around with somebody and try to get their thoughts on Aleister Black and everything like that. Look, if you don't want to acknowledge them as an item on your shows, I'm okay with that. But don't insult your fans' intelligence, because WWE has been notorious for having a few story arcs play out on social media, hoping that the fans eat it up, and normally the fans bait and switch, they go for it and everything. Yeah, I really wish that it would have been a case where when Aleister Black's name was brought up, he's all right. But look, I don't want to talk about him right now, because I'm not representing him right now. Maybe that could change in the future. Who knows? Who knows? This isn't the first time that, me and his path has somehow, that might be kind of silly when you hear that, but somehow deflect. That's all I'm saying. Just deflect all the talk about Aleister Black. Keep focusing on the talk of the people she's representing and Andrade, Theory, and oh God, those are some tongue twisters there. Austin Theory and the two A's, Andrade and Angel. Just keep doing it like that. And the only thing that kind of, I can't help but wonder now. Are we ever going to get to that point in time where their relationship is going to be acknowledged on TV? And if it is, how are we going to exactly approach that? Or is it at this point we're just going to let that just be hands off and not even go there? Maybe there's a little bit of trepidation in the powers that be in WWE because they saw how unpopular, they saw how much of a flying Zeppelin crashing into a empty building with no people, luckily, and just engulfs in fire. They saw how crash and burn the Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch thing played out. Maybe they're kind of saying to themselves, so if that's their mentality and why they didn't want to, I'm okay with that. But you gotta be clever. You gotta put some type of finesse. You gotta be savvy. If you're gonna have her out there talking about her man, but not talk about her man. You see where it's confusing? It's like you gotta somehow they didn't do a good job with that. They didn't do a good job with that when it's all said and done. Aleister Black coming out with the victory. That was actually a pretty good match. All the matches that I was seeing of Raw tonight, I did have to do a little bit of rewinding and fast forwarding after I got done watching Better Call Saul. That actually was a pretty good match. Definitely got to give it up for those two. They did pretty good. I'll say that. They did pretty good. Shayna Baszler was in action. She made quick work out of this poor cute little thing named Indy Hartwell. You can't really rate that because really didn't see too much of offense from Hartwell. Baszler went in here with nothing but a squash and another arm breaking. I mean, she just pretty much went there and literally murdered her opponent. I mean, she broke Sister's arm at least twice. Or at least fractured it in 2, 3, 4 freaking areas. I don't know. But post-match, she grabbed the ladder, brought it back to the ringside, tosses Hartwell into the barricade, then places the arm in between the ladder, crushes the hell out of it, and that's it for poor Indy Hartwell. Hey, look, she's got her look still. She's got a phenomenal physique. You know, her body's banging. She can always be shaking her booty for some little rap music videos, but hey, once again, using enhancement talent to put over Shayna Baszler. Not really too much you can sink your teeth into from that standpoint. Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, that tag team that I've been coming across and liking fairly quickly were in action against Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. These are guys that we saw a couple of weeks ago, if you remember all of these guys, but definitely in Shane Thorne and Brendan Fink. Good match. Match quality was pretty good. As far as, my take on the personal level, it was okay. It was all right. For me, I was mainly interested in what was going on after that, as we saw the lovely Charlie Caruso interviewing Asuka. Asuka once again coming in there showboating like a mofo. And if there was ever a time where you wanted to flip the channel, if you were going through the motions and feeling as though Raw has just been up to this point, you get Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley wants you to stick around to watch him flip a tire. Yeah, I couldn't help but look at that and say, nah, brother, nah, I'm not going to watch you flip a tire. I will flip the channel. You're going to flip a tire, I'm going to flip the channel because, come on, really? Like, this is what we're going to do to kill time here? We're going to watch a guy flip a tire? Not for nothing, but I know we got a lot of time on our hands right now. Many of us, if we really wanted to flip some tires and some other stuff, we can easily go out there and do it ourselves. Lord knows who hasn't watched Biggest Loser? We've constantly seen over the years the big tire being flipped over on the Biggest Loser. That was just, and not for nothing personal against Bobby Lashley, nothing personal against Lana either, but it's really hard right now to watch these guys and know that Rusev is no longer in the company. I mean, that I'm hoping that this is just a big old story arc. I hope that it is. I hope that we're just getting our legs pulled and this is going to be rectified before the month is out, because I'm trying to make sense of that and it just does not make any sense to me whatsoever. Weird stuff going on there. Let's keep rocking and rolling though. Some other stuff we got tonight. Nia Jax picking up the win over Kairi Sane. Again, over Kairi Sane. Almost kind of a squash match. So that's why if you hear me kind of going, there's really nothing. Seth Rollins was sitting on, I guess, his bit of thorns or whatever it was. He was talking about how he knows what it's like to be in the shoes of Drew McIntyre, walking the mile. He accepted Drew's challenge, but not out of respect. He accepted it as he deemed it a necessity and a duty. And he went on to say that the WWE universe at this point, they need a leader. And as much as he and Drew have in common, that's where the similarities end. Seth Rollins feels that from time and time again, he's proven that he is a leader. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is not. And that he will lead the WWE universe, the entire world, into the light. He will be the light for the darkness that is going on right now. And he makes a bold claim that coming up at Money in the Bank, he will take the title, not because he wants to, but because he has to. Yeah. Kind of weird there, yeah? Kind of weird there. Y'all know how I feel about this whole current incarnation of Seth Rollins, so I'm not going to beat that horse to death yet again. But, as far as matches I am looking forward to at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Rollins, McIntyre, that should actually be a pretty damn good entertaining match. I'm not going to deny that. And Memento, Brooke Beener, 69. What are you talking about with Memento? I don't know what you got to be more specific. Details. Don't just do a drive-by. Type it out. Take your time. Type it out. Appreciate it. Other than that, let's keep going here. Keep rocking and rolling here. And for you guys like, what the hell? I was just responding to somebody in the live chat there. Viking Raiders, they popped up. They did some nice promo work. They came off as cosplay versions of themselves, kind of. You got to actually see it to believe it yourself. It kind of came off a little bit quirky, a little bit, okay, well, this is different of the Viking Raiders. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but check it out. It's actually pretty good. Go ahead and peep that out when you guys get a minute. Apollo Crews taking on MVP. Apollo Crews picking up the W. I'm actually happy for Apollo Crews right here. I don't know about the color commentator saying that this was the biggest victory of Apollo Crews' career. I mean, if you really want to kind of get technical about it, I mean, you could kind of say that. But look, I want people to understand, just because you see Apollo Crews pick up a necessary W over MVP, it does not mean that Apollo Crews is all of a sudden, oh man, he's the man. Because we're so quick as a society to jump to conclusions and go, oh man, he's gonna get the push, he's gonna get this, he's gonna get that, and you got to give it some time. I think at this point, this is all about trying to set up Apollo Crews as hey, this guy possibly has a legit chance. He's got a legit opportunity going into Money in the Bank, and hey, come on here. So, I mean, that's how you got to look at it. It's just about building up some of these guys right now. But, that match really didn't do anything for me. I don't know how it did for you guys, but that match really didn't do anything for me. Let's see, what else we got here? So you see so far, just, really a so-so match right here. Liv Morgan was in action against Ruby Riott. This is another one, kind of seen this enough times already. Whoopie-doo, Liv Morgan picked up the W. Whoopie freaking do. And King saying this was huge. Huge from what standpoint? Seriously, like huge from what standpoint? Like, a little bit tired. They need to separate these girls because it's not doing anything. It's really not. It's not doing anything. I can just imagine it right now if the fans were back in attendance right now and they've been watching all of these girls. Remember how it was? Hey, Purple, what's going on, my friend? Remember how it was right before all of this craziness went down with the outbreak? Remember how it was when Liv Morgan came back into the mix, feuding with Ruby and Sarah Logan thrown into the mix, the fans didn't give two shits about it. By the way, if you notice we're not talking about WWE releases this week, that's because I literally did a show over 30 something plus hours ago. I did a Sunday afternoon edition of Wrestling with the Topics with Tammy. And that's actually available not just on YouTube, it's also available in audio format on demand and on the download. So you guys can go scoop it up. We talked about WWE releases. We gave it all the time in the world. So if you don't hear me rehashing that, that's why. So if you didn't check out Sunday's show after you get done with this one, of course, go peep that out when you guys get a chance. We come back to Lashley, who was... I thought I skipped it at this point. I didn't. But he was there to lift the tire. I changed the channel. So whatever had happened after that, I know nothing about that one. I found myself fast forwarding through Rey Mysterio and Buddy Murphy. Didn't particularly care for this matchup. Remember the question I had put out there a couple of weeks ago about what's going on with AOP, Buddy Murphy? Are they still part of Seth Rollins' stable? Well, we did get somewhat of an answer tonight. Maybe the answer might have been given during color commentating too. Maybe one of the color commentators mentioned in conversation, hey, I was talking to Murphy, trying to find out what's going on with him, AOP, and Rollins. If they said anything about that, I don't know anything about that. However, when Murphy came out, part of his Titantron entrance and all that was the Seth Rollins on the Jesus stained glass, like you would normally see when you go to a church. Seth Rollins was all on there, so that kind of gave you an idea that, okay, so apparently everything is still kind of cool with that whole stable. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree, man. It was a pee break. What was going on with Riot and Liv Morgan, that was another pee break, definitely. They really got to break those girls up already, because it's just not doing anything. And look, before anybody even jumps out there, I know we got the report that's out there. WWE wasn't really sure what to do with Liv Morgan after the wedding angle. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's not news. Anybody with two pairs of eyes that's been watching the WWE programming for the past several weeks can fucking tell you that, because we really didn't see her that much on WWE programming after the wedding, and it literally came off like they didn't know what to do with her. So, when you see stupid little stories like that, just kind of have in the back of your mind, clickbait at its finest. These guys don't know shit when it's all said and done. And that's the God's honest truth. I'm seeing it more and more with my own two eyes now. You got people that just, it's a slow wrestling news day. What can we put out there to try to make something be our own? Well, let's try this and let's see if that sticks. That's just pretty much how it is. Let's see. Other than that, Charlotte Flair took on one of my personal favorites here, Kaden Carter. I know what Kaden Carter is capable of, and she really was not able to truly showcase her skills. And I think that was a bit of a... I really didn't like the way the match was booked. I know it's all about getting Charlotte Flair over, and she's the NXT champion and everything, but, what's the point in doing these somewhat squash matches, and, for some people that you can't, as a WWE promotion, you can't assume that wrestling fans are going to be invested in these matches just because it's a wrestling match. Be really cool if you told a little bit of a backstory for some of these NXT talents that we're seeing on Raw, because you have to go in with the notion. I'll tell you, this is a perfect analogy. And it's not long-winded either. So I have the CBS app right now, since it's free up until April 30th. You could have checked it out for full 30 days, beginning, I think it was around April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or whatever. And basically they were saying, hey, you got till April 30th, sign up, get the free trial. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm playing around on there. A lot of cool classic shows that's on there. Cheers, Beauty and the Beast, the TV series with Linda Hamilton. I remembered that show oh so well as a kid and just going, man, that's a badass series. Remember how much I loved it. All kinds of nice, cool hidden gems that's on there. One show even Perry Mason, they got all the episodes of Perry Mason on there. One series that I've been checking out that I remember watching it as a kid, and I remember watching it a bit when I was a teenager, and I liked the series, but I never really sat down, much like with the Honeymooners and the classic 39 episodes. You know, I could tell you verbatim all the classic 39 episodes of the Honeymooners, but with the Odd Couple, I found myself I don't really remember. So they got the Odd Couple on there. And so me and Tams, we've been binge watching like every single night on the Odd Couple. She's into the old classic shows as well. I mean, that's, you know, for some of us, you know, you're around our age group, it's ain't really nothing good on TV. New and exciting for us is, well, she can't stand Walking Dead because she doesn't like seeing all the zombies and shit. You know, she can do the talking, you know, regular human beings, they're just talking and, you know, but once the zombies kick in, she doesn't care for that shit. Better Call Saul, she could get into that. Breaking Bad, she can get into that. You know, there's not too many new shows for us that we can really get into. Like, we tried watching, what's the new show that's on AMC right now that's been coming on after Better Call Saul? Destination to Elsewhere, or whatever the show is with Andre 3000 and Sally Field. I mean, that we tried watching the first episode, and we both clocked out after, my God, 10 minutes. We were bored as fuck, and we just changed the fucking channel. So we found ourselves looking at The Odd Couple every single night. So we're still on the first season. I think now we're at about episode 10. And peep this out. And hardcore Odd Couple fans will remember this. And then I'm not talking about the new shit, the new Odd Couple series that came out a couple years ago. I'm talking about the original with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. So in the first 5, maybe 6 episodes, when the Odd Couple comes on, you got the theme. You know, they got the music playing, and they show them walking the streets and everything. And I remember saying to Tams, I said, you know, it's interesting. She goes, what? Well, I'm looking at this first season so far, and where's the narrator? You know, what I remember as a kid was there was a narrator that tells you how Felix was kicked out by his wife, and he went to the apartment of his best friend, Oscar Madison, who was kicked out by his wife as well. And it pretty much ends with, can these two men, you know, survive living in a house together without driving each other crazy? And then the music cues up. She goes, that's a good point. And I thought that was so critical, because just imagine if you're flipping through the channels and what's this about? You know, and you're waiting for the intro. You know, normally with a TV show intro, you're getting a proper introduction somewhat, not necessarily by narration. Sometimes it can just be by, okay, we're putting this. Okay, so SWAT team. Okay, legal. Okay, all right, that's what this is about. Okay, cool. And so when you didn't see it, those first early episodes of The Odd Couple, you're kind of like, you know, what's this about? Okay, it's about 2 old white guys, middle-aged white guys. Okay, well, you know, why are they odd? What's making them, you know, I need more information. And then from like episode 6 on, you get the narration, and then you go, oh, okay, well, this actually might be pretty good. You got to take those same kind of principles and you got to apply it. You like that? You like that? You see, you thought I had forgot. Sometimes I take a scenic route, but it all makes sense. You get it. So you got to take the same concept like that, and you can't just have randomly on your main flagship show, here's Caden Carter. It's like, okay, well, you know, I see Charlotte Flair and everything, but okay, but who's this Caden Carter? They did the same thing with Santana Garrett. We saw Santana Garrett, and what the fuck was Tom Phillips looking at? Or was it Byron Saxton that said, yeah, it was Byron Saxton. Oh, man, Santana Garrett. Oh, man, she's really showing us something tonight. I'm like, She's not showing you shit. She's showing you how she can take an ass whooping. I didn't see any goddamn offense from Homegirl whatsoever. Freaking Santana Garrett was in action tonight too. And longtime listeners, you know how much of a big fan I am of Santana Garrett. Tried to get her on the show a couple of times. Funny little story with regards to that. I won't share it on here. It's kind of one of those off-air joints. But she was in action against Bianca Belair. There was no fucking action whatsoever. And the Street Profits did not help worth a damn. You know, hear it up. Yeah, like, even Jerry the King Lawler was getting irritated with the guys, and he tried to, you know, have them pipe it down just a little bit because they were being a little bit too over animated with the shit. And look, Jerry Lawler, come on, there's a running gag with that in itself right there, which is Jerry Lawler, we know you don't really like black people, so let's not even go there. And look, and I want to follow up on some words that I had said from a couple of weeks ago with regards to, you know, the New Jack episode of Dark Side in the Ring and everything. I know I had some strong words about what I said with regards to New Jack and everything. You know, Jerry Lawler, look, I appreciate the contributions that he's made to the business. But as far as my Hall of Fame, you know, wrestlers and everything, like people that, you know, hey, I idolize, and hey, I want to, you know, put them on the wall, you know, get their autograph or some shit like that. Jerry Lawler is not one of those people. He's not one of those people. I felt for him when he had the heart attack and everything like that. And it's interesting because I think when I look back on when I had met him, when me and Tammy were covering Awesome Con, I think it was either our first year or second year, I could tell how excited she was, because for her, that was something that she really wanted to do. And anybody that's been in a relationship, sometimes you gotta swallow that pill, and you gotta sometimes do things that you don't normally want to do because you're trying to show to your significant other that you know how to be a team player and all that. It's no different than your girl comes home one day and she goes, "Oh, hey, honey, I brought home fried green tomatoes so we could watch them." "We're gonna watch food tonight?" "No, honey, the movie Fried Green Tomatoes." And you're kind of going, oh, you know. And if you don't want to end up sleeping on the sofa or getting the silent treatment for a couple hours, you sometimes got to do things that, because after all, our girls, you know, they're there for us. When we're trying to drag them along into doing every single, Lord knows, every fucking Sunday, as big as a football fan as I know my girl is, my girl's ready to clock out after 2 games. She will be the first to tell you, don't try to do anything with Lee on Sunday when it's football season. You can forget it, because he's going to be on the sofa watching NFL Game Day on the NFL Network up until noon. Then he's going to watch Fox NFL Sunday and juggle the NFL Today on CBS. He's going to be going back and forth. And then he's going to be watching whatever game comes on first, the 1 o'clock game. If it's a double header, you know, both of them, he's going to go back and forth. Pretty much from 1 to 8, you can forget about it. Like you forget it. Actually, 1 to 11 o'clock at night, I'm done. So basically from freaking 8 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, that's all I'm doing, right? You can freaking forget about it. So, you know, but, you know, if you ask me straight up, I do believe in some of the stuff that I do legitimately believe in the stuff that's been said about Jerry Lawler and everything. And it's kind of, and I don't even think I actually had told Tams about some of the stuff I heard about Jerry Lawler over the years. I know at that point I did not. I would like to believe if I had told her, she probably would have, oh, well, fuck him then. Knowing her, she definitely would have said, fuck, So you learn something. Sometimes you gotta make sure that when it comes to stuff like that, you and your partner are on the same page. If there's something that you don't want to do and it's for the very right reason, that's definitely where communication has to come into play. But nah, man, there's a lot of running jokes you can have with the way Jerry Lawler was talking to the Street Profits. You could just, watch your wallet, Jerry. I mean, there's so much you can go with that. It's not even fucking funny. I don't think there's anything else with regards to this week's Raw that we really need to dive into. I'm just looking at kind of like the rest of the card here. Drew McIntyre, Angel Garza. Drew just beat the holy shit out of Angel Garza. I mean, he was fucking him up like I don't know what. Claymore kicks. I mean, he was whooping his ass left and right. I really, really, really wish that I could say a lot more about this, but there was nothing. I mean, post match, Drew McIntyre, he tells Zelina Vega, "Hey, keep lining them up. I'll keep Claymoring the shit out of them." And Theory decides, oh, well, I'm fighting words. He tries to go in there and step up to the challenge. He gets a freaking Claymore kick for his troubles, and show just pretty much goes off there. It was a real so-so episode. So again, if you were running some errands tonight, you guys really did not miss anything whatsoever. So, hey, probably one of the biggest pieces of news that came about. We talked about the releases on Sunday's Wrestling with Topics. We did talk about the revival. I think we kind of teased the revival. No, we now that I'm thinking about it, no, we actually did spend a couple of minutes talking about the revival and everything, but there's a part 2 to this, and it's kind of cool that we're talking about it here tonight. Revival, first of all, they're teasing that they may join the NWA Crockett Cup. That's the first stint of news there. As oh man, the Crockett Cup. I love the NWA Crockett Cup. And then second of all, they revealed the new logo, because they're calling themselves the Revolt. That's their new name now of the stable. They're calling themselves the Revolt. And it's pretty badass. It's got like a Blair Witch Project Scarlet Letter type of thing that's going on. It's a badass fucking logo. Their names have changed as well. Chase Wheeler, who was Dash Wilder. And then you've got Dax Harwood, which was Scott Dawson. So those are the new names that they're under now. And before anybody jumps out there, you want to talk about it's such good shit, man. There is some pictures that are floating around that reveal right before the revival was on its way out the door from WWE, when they were in the middle of their contract negotiations with Vince McMahon and WWE. Vince McMahon, actually, hang on a second. I think I heard my dog here. Hang on. Oh, okay. She's just knocked out. Okay. So we're still good, guys. There was a pitch that Vince McMahon had made to the revival. He was picturing them being repackaged, and boy, does it look stupid as fuck. Definitely got to give the cred to Bodyslam.net, because they were the ones that broke it out right before the weekend. But let me load these images up. I did it beforehand, and this would have changed their characters drastically. I mean, you want to talk about laughing fucking stocks. You want to talk about, speaking of stocks, you want to talk about, hey, this is going to bring my stock down tremendously. What the hell are you guys thinking? What the hell are you guys doing? Yeah, I saw these images and I just couldn't help but go, if this is what you see when you looked at Wilder and Dawson, then it's kind of good that they rolled the fuck out, because that just would have been, and I'm glad they stood their ground, and just goes to show you, not everything is about money in life. But look at this shit. Look at this. What the flying fuck, man? I mean, it's like some fucking Flavor Flav type of shit that's going on here. But wait, it gets even freaking worse. I got another image here. Let me load this up here. And look at this. Look at this. This is freaking terrible. This is terrible. And the guys are pleading the fifth. You know, they're not denying it. They're not confirming it. They're just pleading the fifth. I would like to believe that if this was some straight up horseshit, they would have diffused the situation and it would have been dead as soon as it was put out there. But the fact that they are pleading the fifth, I got one more image I can show you guys here. Let me load this one up. Let's see here. I think it was this one. I mean, this is what you saw in these guys. I mean, yeah, they're, oh my God. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I will be the first to tell you that when it comes to the revival, you know, the revival, at least as far as in the WWE realm of things, you know, they are not characters. You know, what they are is old school throwback type of guys. You know, they would have been perfect as part of, it would no longer be the Four Horsemen, but seeing them aligned with the Four Horsemen, they kind of fit that fucking realm, so to speak. They would have been, they're just from the wrong era when it's all said and done. If it would have been the WWF, Dawson and Wilder, I think they would have done phenomenal. I personally think. I think they would have done okay. Old days of the NWA, the AWA, they would have just done fucking phenomenal. I think they definitely would have fizzled out. They would have had no chance in hell during the Monday Night War. Definitely even right before Eric Bischoff came on board and took control of WCW and everything. You remember how WCW was back then. They would not have even thrived during that period of time. I personally don't feel, I could be wrong, but I don't think just kind of as a wrestling fan, remembering how it was after the 80s and then going into the 90s and everything and into the 2000s, yeah. But put them in any one of those other eras I was mentioning, they would have been okay. Them going into, if they are going to be doing some business with Billy Corgan, Dave Lagana, and the NWA, and they are going to be participating in that NWA Crockett Cup, I mean, they would fit that like a fucking glove. You know, because, you know, what they are to me, their embodiment, you know, what all they represent to me is straight up, just as the slogans they were pushing out, straight up, old school, in your face, traditional tag team wrestling. It's just smash mouth, you know, hard nose hitting tag team action. You know, I'm just picturing them. Can you just imagine? Just I know a lot of you guys are old school wrestling fans. Could you just imagine? You just close your eyes and just, man, Revival taking on the Von Erichs, or the Revival taking on Double A, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, or them taking on the Briscoes. God damn. I mean, they would have been tearing it up, man. Big time tearing it up. Right type of setting, definitely Farouk and Bradshaw. Oh man, Harlem Heat. They've been tearing it up with Harlem Heat. That'd be, now you know what? That actually still might be able to happen this very day. I wouldn't hold out hope on it, but it could still happen. Harlem Heat taking on the Revival. I think there's some money and some serious attention that you could get for that one right there when all of this craziness with the pandemic is over. But man, we be here all night just going over all of the cool teams, you know, head shrinkers, head bangers. Oh man, let's just go on and on of the great teams that they would have gelled pretty damn good with from back in the day and everything. You know, take them right now in 2020, the Revival that is, and put them in the realm of an NWA, they'd be fine. Put them in the realm of AEW, which I really hope that that's where they ultimately go. They would fit into that tag division very well, I personally feel. And you want to just talk about from a creative control standpoint as well, the opportunity to breathe and really, you feel where I'm coming from. I think they would definitely thrive in that tremendously. So your guess is as good as mine where they're going, but you know they're going to be okay. As of all the people that were released from WWE last week, which was about what guys, 40 people. When it's all said and done, there's probably even a few more names that's going to be dropping before the month is out. And the last thing I want to do on this show is react to rumors. I want official because I know that there's a lot of rumors. Well, this person was released and this Nah, I don't want to be coming on here and putting misinformation out there. I want to do my best to deal with the facts as it stands and then look at it from all standpoints that way, like I normally do. But these are some trying times right now. When it's all said and done, we talked about it on Sunday as far as these difficult times that's going on right now. I told you guys, it's all about the house. Remember what I said Sunday? It's all about the house winning. It's all about them doing what they need to do to continue to stay afloat when it's all said and done. Remember that. But yeah, I just got a kick out of those images, and I couldn't help but say, to each its own. For some people, hey, if you're going to give me $1 million or, everybody's got a price. Okay, you're going to pay me how much? And I'm going to dress up like what? And I'm going to do what again? Okay, well, it's stupid as fuck, but as long as the money is right, put it in the bank, sit on it, I'm good. And, some people, it's the principle. It's about, nah, man, it's like, that's been neat. It's not a pride thing, but for some people, like the Revival, nah, man. It's like, I know this is good money and everything, but, you're going to do a move like the Revival did. Man, you've been saving up your money, and you've been putting out some feelers. You've been getting in contact with a few people that might no longer be in the WWE. Hey, man, what's going on out there? Cue up Marvin Gaye. What's going on? Hit me. Get me caught up to speed. What's happening, brother? Get caught up. Okay, all right, that sounds good. Put your eggs in a row there, getting everything nice and lined up, getting ready to roll. Man, the way that they set this up, they were smart about it. When it's all said and done, that they were smart about it, and hopefully everybody else that was released, they've been pretty smart about it as well with regards to their money and everything. But it just goes to show you that for some people, you can offer all the money in the world. If you're not really feeling the direction of where you are creatively, and especially from a production standpoint, as far as what you're able to produce, what you would like to produce and everything, sometimes it's not a good fit anymore. Gotta fly solo. It's just, you go your way, I go my way, we're good to go. Sometimes it just happens that way. And let's do this. I want to give a shout out to some of our Patreon members. Yes, Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday evening after I get in from work, me and Tammy are going to be sitting down on Patreon. And we're going to be doing a special edition of 30 with Lee. It may go a little longer than 30, but we're going to be reviewing the season finale of Better Call Saul. What a phenomenal season finale that was, too. If you guys have not checked it out yet, I won't spoil it for you, but god damn, the way they set that up, I can't wait to see the final season, man. We're going to have to wait a whole year before they come back, but we'll be sitting down and we'll be doing that, so check that out when you guys get a chance. If you're following me on social media, you guys will know when I'll put that out and everything. But I do want to give a shout out to our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR show. Shout out to Patreon members Justin Ripstock, John Krauser, Sean Kenter. Shout out to you guys. Also shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis. Shout out to my man Tony Being Gaming, one of the very latest in all things Marvel Super Wars, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and Marvel Strike Force. Check out Tony Being Gaming. Tricks, tips, walkthroughs, news, and reviews. He's got a great YouTube channel. Also has a Patreon paywall as well. Tony Bing Gaming. Check him out. Some good stuff. No other sponsors we need to plug tonight except my good friends over at ChairShotTees.com. Check them out. They got officially licensed wrestling t-shirts from some of your favorites, man. Check them out. Bookmark them. Check them out daily, weekly. They're always adding some new stuff on there. Matter of fact, I'm about ready to buy some more merchandise from them. True story between Chairshot Tees and I saw the commercial for WWE Shop tonight. T-shirts. One night only. $12. I'm like, oh shit. So basically it's kind of similar to what I had got last time with the Triple H shirt. And my girl said, no. You got enough shirts as it is. True, because we've been doing some spring cleaning. I don't know if you guys have caught up on spring cleaning during this outbreak, but we've been catching up on a lot of spring cleaning. This studio is probably the last thing that really needs spring cleaning. I've got to dust it. I've got plenty of posters. I've got posters. I've got autographs that are still in shrink wrap, still in envelopes that I've yet to get frames for. So hopefully, while I have this somewhat downtime with the new job and all, hopefully I can, get everything up and add them. But we came across so many shirts of mine that I forgot about. There's a lot of wrestling shirts. There's a lot of cool little knick-knack shirts. And I go, oh, wow, I forgot I had that. And so when I see the commercial tonight, I was literally on WWE Shop, and my girl goes, nah, baby, you got enough shirts as it is. Let's figure out what you don't want first and get rid of it. And then maybe we can take advantage of some of those again. Like, okay, cool. Speaking of WWE Shop, I don't have the image right now, but there are two versions of the People's Champion, The Rock's Brahma Bull Championship. There's two versions of it. There's one, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to rely on you guys a little bit. If anybody wants to hop on the site real quick and double check, give me the right info, let me know. But they got two replica versions of the Brahma Bull Championship belt. The first version, if I remember it right, is $500. And I remember looking at that and I was going, oh, wow, that looks pretty good. And if you want to pony up a little bit more, then basically, if you want, the 100% legit, sometimes your mind gets a little, wait a minute, replica, and I don't understand and I was a little bit confused when I heard that as well, because when I had got the big gold belt, maybe next time around, I'll actually show off the big gold belt. If you follow me on social media, I've shown the big gold belt in the past only when it got autographs. Because other than, I got a golden rule, which is, if you're going to get a belt, have motherfuckers sign it. That's my whole deal. Have motherfuckers sign it. If you're going to be wearing it out in public and all that shit, as far as I'm concerned, you need to be defending it. Like, seriously, you need to be defending it. You just can't be walking around, hey guys, what's up? You're like, nothing much. What you doing with the belt? Well, here at a wrestling event, so, I'm just bringing my belt. And it's like, so you're not defending the title tonight? Like, no, I'm just trying to, represent, WWE. Like, no, you need to be defending that belt. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to be wearing a belt out in public, unless you're getting an autograph from somebody, you need to be defending it. So, I got the big gold belt from a couple of years ago. And so far, Sting has signed it. CM Punk has signed it. There was a third person that signed it. I wish I could remember who the third person was. My mind is going a little. I tell you what. Let's have the missus make a cameo, because now that's going to bother me for the rest of the show. I could have sworn 3 people had signed the title. CM Punk, Sting. For some reason, I cannot picture the third person. I don't even know if there was a third person that has signed the title. But basically, when I go to certain events, usually when I'm covering events as part of the press, depending on who's there, that's when I go, okay, I'm gonna have this person sign the belt, and it stays in the WWE bag that it's in and everything. Let's call the missus up real quick. I could have sworn it was 3 people. I can see where CM Punk. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Hello.
Hey, hon.
Hey.
Hey, quick question.
Uh-huh.
Who all signed my big gold belt? For some reason, I keep thinking there was a third name. I've got Sting, I've got CM Punk, but I could have sworn there was a third person that signed it.
Unless it was Batista. I don't think you had the belt at that point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember having the belt when we went to cover Batista's Q&A and all that, and we got the autograph.
No, that's true, because we actually got the belt for the CM Punk thing anyway.
Right. Okay.
I think it's just 2.
It's just 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would have been 3, because I think I might have been thinking about having Sergeant Slaughter sign it.
Possibly.
Maybe that's the third. But to your knowledge,
he essentially was there at that point.
Right, but
that same weekend.
But to your knowledge, it was only 2 people that signed it.
I think no, it's only 2.
Only 2. Okay, yeah, because I'm trying to picture, because I remember where Sting signed. Because Sting said, "You want me to sign anywhere?" And I said, "Yeah, anywhere is okay." And he signed.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk was literally like no, CM Punk didn't ask. He just looked at it and he just pretty much was, all right, I'm gonna pick this one. And yeah, I'm not picturing the third person. So I told the listeners, and I like to get your thoughts. I told the listeners, I said unless you are defending your belt in public at a wrestling event, or you're getting an autograph, you really shouldn't be walking around with a belt around your shoulder. What say you?
I say it depends on personal preference. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but also you have some people who are proud of that fact, and they're proud to have the belt, so they want to wear it everywhere. Now, I'm not saying you should probably wear it out to a restaurant, but I get where they want to wear it to WWE. Oh, you're talking about the wrestlers, sorry.
No, I'm talking about wrestling fans that wear those replica belts in public, and they're not getting an autograph. I think,
unless you're wearing it for a WWE event, or you just want someone to come up and say, "Hey," or "Oh, hey, cool belt," or whatever, then there's really no point.
Yeah. Well, I personally believe that if they're going to be having the belt in public, they got to defend it. I sincerely mean that. I mean, you can imagine the amount of money you can put on that, and like, defend the belt. You gotta defend it. Come on, defend it. That'd be some cool shit. You remember when we were in the line for CM Punk, and you remember how we had the people that were driving by and they were going, "Hey, nice belts." And
but it wasn't as a compliment.
It wasn't a compliment, folks. So I mean, us wrestling fans, we're pretty well guarded about our shit,
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to be kind of under that kind of scrutiny sometimes. If you're willing to face that, then it's kind of like, to each its own. But I like the answer you gave. You gave a very diplomatic answer. I like that. I said, no, you got to defend it, but you gave a diplomatic answer. All right, I got a couple of more topics to get into, and then I should be in there in a little bit. Okay.
All right,
hon. Say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right, hon. Bye. All right, nice little cameo by the missus right there. Jared, it's like the third time you've asked about phone calls. And to anybody else that may be listening to this on demand and on the downloads, we do not take phone calls. As long as I have been on the air, I remember the golden years of the RCWR show, we took phone calls. This is going back to the blog talk radio days. There was an actual phone number you could call and you could go live with me. The problem with that, let me tell you the problem with that. The problem with that, we had the same people that would always call into the show religiously. And it got to a point where listeners of the show would go, well, I'm going to get off the phone with you now because I want to hear what blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah has to say. And it's like, not an ego tripping thing or anything like that, but it was, well, wait a minute now. The name of the show is da-da-da-da-da with Lee Sanders. Like, it's not with Mike and Gus and, and all these other people. Like, what the hell? And I've always had the philosophy of, if you're a podcaster and you're doing a solo show or you're doing a two-man show, I've always had the mentality of know without a doubt when you're looking at the numbers for your product that you're getting the numbers that you're getting because people are invested in you and not who you have that's calling into your show. Now, once in a blue moon, you'll see me interview somebody and I'll get that itch. It's very rare, even to this point these days, I will have an itch and I will, want to interview somebody, as there's really not that many people that get at me these days that I got to interview them. But it's rare because there used to be a time I would do interviews left and right with people. And then it just kind of got to, that's just my mentality. So, there's no such thing. And Jared, before you go, just know one more thing. If there is a time when I am going to be doing some type of a phone line thing where fans can connect and go live with me, that's going to be Discord only. And I'm going to say it one more time. Discord is free. Now, if you guys choose to not sign up, all the information you need is in the episode description. If you guys decide you don't want to do the Discord thing, then that's on you all. I'm just letting you know if I were to do something where I would bring people live on the air, but then even at that, don't think that because, we're going to, to the point we're going to one day do a live show, we're going to have call-ins. No, my babies. We're going to have a screen or two. We're not just going to, everybody can call because we used to get weirdos that would call. And if I got to be honest with you, that's actually one of the main reasons why the phone line has not been back is because we've had weirdos. I had weirdos that would call the show line, the old show line that we had, and they would leave blank messages, heavy breathing. They would call it. I can see the timestamps of when they would call the freaking number. It was weird as fuck. I mean, I remember there was one day, there was 18 fucking messages. 18 messages. Nothing but heavy breathing. It would go for about 3 minutes at a time. I'm like fast forwarding through the message trying to see if anything's being said or whatever. And it's really, if you want to break bread with me, if you want to earn my trust, and if you want to solidify, this is for everybody, and you want to solidify that you're cool people, one of the best things I recommend that you do is interact with me on social media. If you're interacting with me on social media, I have a rapport. If I always see you popping up in the chat room and you're not just going, you're taking phone calls? Join my Facebook group. That's not building a rapport. What's building a rapport is doing like Purple, is doing like Austie, is doing like Freddie, is doing like Mish. And every time I'm live, you're interacting, you're commenting on some of the topics that I'm going over. It's got to be reciprocal. You don't just, that's going to make me have a red flag, and it's not going to make me give you the time nor the day. That's the best advice I can give to anybody. And if you take that kind of personal, please don't. I'm just letting you know this is how we rolling. It's a trust thing. And once I feel that, okay, there's trust, you got it. But when I feel that the trust has been violated, like what we had with the phone line before, I tried to do something nice and we had, a few people that were abusing it. I felt that trust was broken. So, kind of keep that in mind. But, I always say we do once in a blue moon, we do take voicemail messages. Now, there's not a phone number that you can call for that one. But if you go on the website, which is RCWRshow.com, if you go on the website, there's a little option where you can leave a little voice message. Now that I do miss. That was cool because I used to get some really cool ass questions from folks from time to time that I would answer live on the show, no rehearsing whatsoever. And it was kind of cool getting those. It was. Hey, I got a couple more topics I want to dive into before we get ready to wrap it up. I know I said we were going to do about an hour 15, but two things I want to get into, and then we're pretty much going to be done. So we'll probably do about a 90-minute show when it's all said and done. But I do want to go out on this note and call it a night because I do want to watch me some more Odd Couple. First off, I want to say rest in peace to Howard Finkle. One of, from what I've gathered over the years from any and everybody connected to this man, a professional, a very nice, likable man, a sweet, sweet man. He passed away last week. What a rough week last week was too. The shit with XFL, the stuff with Jimmy Snuka, Vince McMahon being painted as somebody that paid off the police, and maybe he really is kind of connected to the mafia, the WWE firings, Vince McMahon working with Trump and a few other major sports mongols and figuring out what's going on with sports and when it could come. I mean, what a weird week it was last week. And then you had on top of that the death of veteran actor Brian Dennehy. And then also mixed in there, you had the death of ring announcer Howard Finkle. I mean, that was just crazy. Yeah, what a weird week. I hate to mention Howard Finkle and all of that, but when you really kind of stop and think about it, you too kind of go, what a weird fucking week that it was last week. But Howard Finkle passed away at the age of 69. He worked for the WWE way back when it was WWF under Vince McMahon Sr. And he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009. Loved him. I loved me the Fink. I did. I loved the Fink. I didn't watch that many episodes of Legends House, but as far as the personalities I gravitated towards on that show, Fink was one of them. Okerlund was definitely another. And the thing that I'm gonna miss most about the Fink is just the way that he was able to. What hasn't he called? I mean, he's been involved in many of the most iconic moments in wrestling history. You know, you go back and it's so interesting, I think, because, you know, you got your color commentators, but, you know, this is a rare case where you go, as far as a ring announcer, hey, give me a ring announcer, give me. It's like, it's a short list of people that stand out in your mind. You might be able to go Justin Roberts. You know, he's got that trademark, everything is with an R, you know, everything's with an R. By the way, if you send me a little disclaimer here, when I say you can get at me on social media, you want to do the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at the RCWR show. Those are the only ones that, as far as social media goes. I do have a private social media account, but that is for close friends and family only. So please respect my privacy. All right, appreciate that. Because I had just saw a notification that somebody was sending me a friend request here just now, and I ignored the shit out of that. But, you know, for the Fink, Fink is like, what hasn't he called? So you go with Justin Roberts. Okay, he's got the R's. You go with Lillian Garcia. It's like, okay, Fink. You're like, hey, yeah, I remember Fink. Fink was part of so many iconic fucking moments, man. It's not even funny. And also, the way he would announce shit. That's the thing that I love the most about the Fink. Coming down the aisle. Coco beware. I just love the way he would fucking say shit, man. It was just, it stood out to you. It really, really did. And then he doesn't get enough credit in the world. However, if you go on the WWE network from a couple of years back, y'all will peep it out what I'm talking about, but the story behind WrestleMania. How WrestleMania came to be and everything. Howard Finkle was definitely instrumental in the very first WrestleMania, right down to the point of the name for it, giving it the name. He was very instrumental. And let me tell you something else that not too many people are really bringing to light with regards to the Fink. But the Fink also was responsible in the early days of WWE, especially working with Vince Jr. He was very instrumental in being the eyes and ears for Vince, being his number two guy and letting him know this is what's going on the independent scene. These are the talents that has people talking. These are the people that I think we should keep our eyes on, and maybe at some point we should try to have them come on over and work for us. He so you could say a scouter. Long before Jim Ross and everything, Fink was that guy for a hot minute. It might have not been as long as some of the other guys, but he was there. He had Vince's ear for a hot minute, short period of time there. So he was producer as well. I mean, he wore all different types of hats. He was having some health problems over the years and everything, and there was a lot of stuff that was being put out there about him, a lot of misinformation that was being put out there about him, and Tommy Dreamer actually had to debunk some of that stuff. Tommy Dreamer, yeah, I'm not really sure how many of you guys had heard about that, but I think it was either earlier Monday, but Tommy Dreamer, he had revealed Finkle's final days, and he was actually speaking to Busted Open Radio about it, and I just want to quote him real quick here. He said, "A lot of people said Howard had a stroke. Howard did not have a stroke. Howard had a rare genetic brain disease. His brain was shrinking, and I hate that because the whole outthink the Fink, and he was slowly losing his mind. He had stroke-like symptoms, but he kept falling because of his brain. I didn't post pictures of us on social media. I took them all the time. I would visit him. But Howard had such pride. He didn't want the people to know he was sick. He didn't want people to feel sorry for him. He was literally just sitting there watching the Mets game until it was time to watch wrestling. I posted a picture last night on social media, and everyone kept hitting me back up about the note over my shoulder. I went back and I looked, and this was when Howard was in a bad state. Howard couldn't, sadly, use a cell phone anymore because of his hands. And when you see the picture, you can see some pictures and get an idea what was going on with his hands to a certain degree. But regardless, if you handed him the phone, which is what I would do every time I would visit, I would FaceTime with Justin Credible. Howard's medical note above my shoulder said, "Please put channel 43 on at 8 p.m. on Monday nights. Wrestling is on." This was his medical note. He loved us. We were his family. That's all he had. He loved performing in front of the fans, and he loved us unconditionally. So, it's rather sad that people that were not connected to the situation, just guessing and trying to put some stuff out there. as far as what they think, may have happened and everything. And it's sad. But look, I really sincerely hope that the Fink, his final hours, I really hope it was as peaceful and it was as comfortable as humanly possible. And if there is such thing as an afterlife, I really hope that the Fink is in a position now where he's no longer in pain. If there really is an afterlife, that's a terrible way to kind of go out. The brain shrinking and everything like that, but. You talk about dedication to the end, about loving his wrestling and continuing to support the WWE and everything. Not to mention, there's a really cool story I was seeing on social media. Some of the people that had shared some of their fondest memories of the Fink, and the one that really jumped out to me the most was Vicky Guerrero, and Vicky Guerrero talking about how she recalled one time, you want to know everything you need to know about the Fink. When Eddie Guerrero had passed, Fink was, if not the only person, maybe one of maybe 2-3 people, if not the only person, that told Vicky, hey, I'm not leaving your husband. I'm gonna stay with him. I don't want him, traveling, back home by himself. So he stayed with Eddie's body from where Eddie passed, bringing the body back home to Vicky. He didn't have to do that. That all just could have been up to, Vince McMahon, WWE. They could have, whatever, fork the money, make the connections happen or whatever. But for Fink to do something like that, you just, wow, that tells you everything that you need to know about a guy like that. If there's a heaven, and from everything that everybody has said about the Fink from over the years before he died, you heard nothing but good things. You never heard anything controversial about the Fink. You never heard about the Fink getting in trouble or any weird, stupid shit like that. So it sounds like he lived the best life that he possibly could, especially as far as paying it forward, always forward, as I like to say. So yeah, man, if there really is a heaven, hopefully that guy is definitely there. And he's wrestling with the greats right now. What's really depressing, I bring it up once in a blue moon, but if you really want to just, goddamn, take a look at the very first WrestleMania. The very first WrestleMania. Make a note of all the people that were part of that first WrestleMania. And then when you realize how many are no longer with us from that first WrestleMania, it gets really fucking depressing real quick. It really, really does. One other topic that I want to get into, and we're going to end on a good, strong, high note here. So I watched episode 1 and 2 of Michael Jordan's The Last Dance on ESPN. A little bit of context. Born and raised in Chicago. Have not lived in Chicago since 1990, going on 91. But Chicago Bulls, that team, I faithfully continued to follow them up until Michael Jordan left the Bulls. So I remember being on the sofa with my dad and my uncle, going back into the early 80s and watching Michael Jordan play for North Carolina. I remember watching the games, and I remember my dad and my uncle going back and forth about Jordan. I remember them going back and forth about, man, he'd be a great pickup if the Bulls can freaking get him. Let me tell you, the Bulls, man, the Bulls were a joke before Jordan. The Bulls were a freaking joke. I lived in that city. I can remember, speaking to not just my dad and my uncle, but, kids in the neighborhood and everything. And they were a freaking joke. And then when Jordan got drafted by the Bulls, my earliest memories, I can recall periods in wrestling when I was a kid, certain moments that made me become a fan of pro wrestling and everything. And then there was Michael Jordan And I just remember when I saw this guy and what he was capable of doing. It's like, wow. It was like watching magic play out right before your very eyes. It was. So I love these first two parts that's part of a 10-part miniseries. My biggest takeaways from The Last Dance so far. How much of a villain Bulls general manager Jerry Krause was. I mean, to see this guy have the audacity to say to Coach Phil Jackson, okay, look, I know you might be back for 1 year at $6 million, but pretty much telling Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, look, I don't care if you guys go 82-0 the 97 and 98 season. I don't care if you win a sixth championship. I don't care if you 3-peat. When this is all said and done, I'm blowing this shit up. We starting over. Jackson, you out of here. I mean, that just, it really, I didn't really learn anything new from what I was watching because I lived through it all the first go round. And I could remember growing up reading the Chicago Tribune, Chicago Times. I can remember the sports shows and all that back in the day. Vividly, I can remember everything. It's almost as if it was just 10 years ago instead of, you feel where I'm coming from? So I can remember it all vividly, but the stuff with Jerry Krause, I remember hearing rumblings about it. I can remember reading, little editorial pieces and everything, but to really be able to sit there during part 1 and 2 and really be able to take it in and go, hear Jordan, hear Pippen, hear Jackson, hear the freaking Bulls owner, you got the Bulls owner right there saying, hey, I was advised not to touch Jerry Krause, but I kind of liked what he did over there. What was he, a GM for? I can't remember which baseball team it was at this point, but he's going to his own respected sources, and they're telling him, you want to stay away from that guy, Jerry Krause. Nah, he's a shady motherfucker. He's bad business for you. You want to stay away from him. But what does this Bulls owner do? He goes ahead and he freaking hires this dude, gives him absolute power over all the signings and I mean, just everything. Gave this guy a bit too much freaking power as far as I'm concerned. And I agree with, when I saw all this shit go down initially, and I saw Jackson was out, and I saw Jordan was out, this is 97 going into 98, this is going into the summer of 98, I'm going, what the fuck? What the hell happened? Seriously, you had a good thing going on here. Chicago was put on the map because of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And it was riveting because I always felt, many fans always felt, but to hear Michael Jordan actually give validity to what we had thought all those years about Scottie Pippen. Basically, that's great to say, yeah, he's my Robin, he is my John Stockton to my Karl Malone. That's great and everything. But for Jordan to give the ultimate compliment to Scottie Pippen and say, we wouldn't have these championships without Scottie Pippen. Just as much as Michael Jordan was to the Bulls, Scottie Pippen was to the Bulls as well. I couldn't have done it without him. It takes a big man to put the ego to the side and, nah, man, like, this dude, he really needs to get all the credit in the world. But think about that. Two Jerrys. We got Jerry Krause and the Bulls owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. For Jerry Reinsdorf, you're looking at him in this new interview. It's not like this was 10 years ago. This is like, somewhere between 2 to 4 years ago. You got him basically, matter of fact, if there was ever a time to smoke a cigar, have a drink, like Jordan's doing, you see him, he chilling. If there was ever a time to have a smoke, have a drink, be reflective, yeah, you know what? Young man becomes a wise fool. Yeah, if I could have done a few things differently, I definitely would have been more vocal. I would have pulled the reins back a little bit on Krause and we would have definitely done our best to keep all the pieces. No, freaking Reinsdorf is matter of fact coming off like, no, we made the right decision. And Krause deserves all of the blame for blowing the shit up. But when I look at that pie chart out of 100%, I gotta give maybe 40% to Krause, and I gotta give Reinsdorf the 60% because he could have stepped in there at any time and say, whoa, we need to be thinking about the bottom dollar here. Look at all of this money that we've been able to generate. Look how it was during it. For those of you that watched it, remember the one scene where they had showed how much the tickets were to a Bulls game before Jordan came in, and then pretty much afterwards and they were selling out. They were freaking selling out. And I'm telling you, man, to be living in Chicago when Jordan was doing his thing, even before the first three-peat, even before the first three-peat went down, you could just feel it in the air. If you were in Chicago, you could feel it in the air. You could feel the people that were, man, we got something good. We got something special right here with this Michael Jordan. I'm telling you, man, we got something right here, man. This dude, he's gonna help us. He's gonna freaking take us to that next level, man. He's gonna make basketball here in Chicago exciting again. He's gonna make sports. We saw it. Some of us, like my dad and my uncle, when we were watching the North Carolina games, we knew we were seeing something special. But I don't think the three of us knew that it was going to be, quite at the level that, for us to say, oh, he's going to take, we're kind of believing in our own hype, but for it to actually come to fruition is a different story. And so to see Reinsdorf and Krause just blow this shit up, everything's good. You got all this money that's coming in. Ratings are up, and all of these accolades you're getting, and you just want to self-sabotage it. And for Jerry Krause to be that one kid, well, since you're not gonna play with me, I'm the one that essentially, brought you the toys, and now I want to play with you and those toys, and since you're not allowing me to play with those toys that I found, and I'm letting you play with them, well, I'm just going to take my toys back and I'm going to find some new friends to play with. The hell with you. That for me just showed the ultimate pettiness that this guy had. You want to talk about somebody that is very insecure about themselves. I cringed a little bit when we also saw Jordan and Pippen and just going at it, making fun of this guy out in the public amongst other teammates and everything. You go, whoa, we're rolling like that? We're disrespecting upper management like that? Now, as we all know, Jerry Krause did not draft. He was good. Jerry Krause was good. He was responsible. Let's give him credit. He was responsible for bringing in Scottie Pippen and everything. But not for nothing, a lot of teams actually wanted him. All right, so not for nothing, but it just so happened that the best deal to come to him and everything, and the best 1-2 punch scenario by teaming with Jordan and the Bulls and everything, it presented itself. It was just a good opportunity there that the dominoes fell the way that they fell for Pippen to come to the Bulls and everything. But Krause was not the one responsible for bringing in Michael Jordan. So he don't have that on his resume, but for what he was able to do in his own respected right, yeah, he did right by the franchise. Some of the moves that he did make, but I felt for him at times when he was getting the disrespect that he was getting, but at the same time, it was deserving. It was rightfully deserving because of all the backhanded, shady bullshit that this guy was doing. And then to do this freaking wedding, and then he doesn't invite Phil Jackson, and in the midst of Phil Jackson, Jordan, they're on this last run, they're trying to three-peat, the last dance, this motherfucker has the audacity to bring in Phil Jackson's successor, who's really unproven. Yeah, he's doing pretty good in college basketball and everything, but no, to have him be and just having him on the sidelines and reporters are, hey, who is this guy? But you want to talk about the ultimate disrespect that you're showing somebody and everything. Now, a lot of, you start to feel sorry for Krause, but it's just when you see all of this shit that's playing out, you kind of understand. Pippen, I remember the shit that was going on with Pippen. I remember that, again, didn't learn anything new. And look, every Sunday, for those of you that's going to be watching it and you got Twitter, every Sunday I am going to be live tweeting. So I was live tweeting my thoughts as the episode was playing out and everything, actually interacting with a couple of people. I know Chris Miller from Comcast Sports, he really does a good job in covering the Wizard games. I was shooting a quick tweet his way and everything, and that shit was just, didn't really learn anything new about the whole Scottie Pippen situation. As a matter of fact, and I'm not just saying this, longtime listeners will remember this, I was on this show couple of times over the years. True story. May I be hit with a lightning bolt otherwise. But true story. My mom, right before the Bulls did the three-peat. Again, born and raised in Chicago, okay? Before the Bulls did their first three-peat. My mom, one of her girlfriends, they had some connections because they used to always go to the Bulls games and everything. Her and another friend of hers, they would always go to the Bulls games and everything. And at this point, my mom had broke up with my dad, and they were just friends from a distance. But hey, they had me in common, obviously. So it was one of those deals where dad would come pick me up on the weekends. We go play some basketball, or I'd go over to see my grandmother, his mom, and hang out and all that other shit. So this one time, my mom's girlfriend says to her, hey girl, I was at the game and I actually was able to, and I wish I could remember the player. I spent so much time focusing on one player that I never did find out who the other player was. So I don't know. I don't think it was Jordan. I'll say that up front. I don't think it was Jordan. But my mom's friend said, hey, look, we can go on a double date. And my mom's like, okay, well, tell me more about the date. And she goes, okay, well, you know how I'm always going to the Bulls games. Like, yeah. Oh, well, so there was this, one Bulls player, again, which I remember the name, but I can't. And so my mom goes, okay, well, who am I dating? What, you telling me I'm going to be able to date Michael? And my mom's friend, no, sorry, I couldn't get Michael. Scotty. And my mom's like, Pippen? She's like, yeah. Oh, girl, he ugly as fuck. Hell no, I'm not interested in dating him. He's ugly as fuck. And I remember my mom's friend, they called me Suge. And Suge was my nickname because, on the one hand, I was sweet, but I was also a badass. So, they called me Suge. So I said, Suge. This was way before Suge Knight, people. Death Row Records. So he said, Suge, come here. So I come over, and my mom's friend is like, let's be honest, you don't really like your dad, right? I go, uh-huh. So you like the Bulls, don't you? It's like, yeah. Well, what if I told you that me and your mom could go on a double date with a couple of the Bulls players? And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, who is it? Is it MJ? She's like, no, not MJ. Well, who is it? And, the friend told me that my mom was going to be able to date Scottie Pippen. And I jumped up and down and I said, Scottie P, he's cool. He's like, you got to date him. You got to date Pippen. And, my mom was like, nah, he's ugly as fuck. Nah, fuck that shit. And so you hear that, you're kind of going, and I'm trying to remember the timeline right, because sometimes I question the timeline. So if I'm not mistaken, we had that, what was it, a 2-3 year period where Michael Jordan did not play for the Bulls and Scottie Pippen had carried the workload all by himself. And so he was with the Bulls, if I remember it right. He came to the Bulls in 87, and the first championship did not go down. God, I want to say the first championship did not go down, I don't think, until 91. If I remember right. Help me out, guys, because my memory is a little funky here. I'm just going off of memory. I don't have anything written down. So sometime between 87 to 90 is when my mom could have gone on this double date, and her date would have been Scottie Pippen. But according to my mom, he was ugly as fuck. And she didn't want to, because my mom was, my mom was a good looker. Oh my God. My mom still is, actually. I mean, now she just has, a little gray hair and everything, but oh man, back in my mom was drop dead gorgeous, but she was she was a quiet, shy type of girl. She had to warm up to you and really get to know you and everything before you could finally, really see her full personality and everything. Cause she was the type of girl, she didn't do the clubbing. And now that I kind of think about it, when I look back on why I don't do clubs, I've never done clubs and all that, strip bars and all that other shit over the years. I think a large part of that had to do with her, because her definition of fun was just kicking back on Friday nights, Saturday nights, cracking open a bottle of Bacardi, mixing it with some Coke or Pepsi, taking those tops, cigarette rollers, making her own little cigarettes, because she has her own little tobacco, and she's just smoking those up and just enjoying herself, mixing her sour cream and onion potato chips with buttered popcorn, and enjoying some nice movies on the TV during the weekend or whatever. That was kind of like her definition of fun. Or maybe some nights some friends would come over, play some spades or whatever, get the drinking on and all that. Kids are in the other room playing, video games, toys, or whatever. And so, but she knew she was gorgeous. But there was a shyness about her, a quiet shyness that was about her. You really had to keep working at it. She wasn't one of those people, if you wanted to date her, you had to keep chipping away. Yeah, you had to earn that shit. You had to earn her trust, basically. And she did not want to date Scottie Pippen. Now you could kind of go, well, look how things turned out, because as we would see in the later years, Scottie Pippen would constantly have financial problems, and we won't get into that right now, but hopefully, they will kind of talk about that later on during the 10-part series. But Pippen, that deal that he signed, to even have the owner say, Scotty, I don't really think you should be signing this long term of a contract, because I think before the year is out, this whole pay structure is just going to flip upside down, and that deal of yours, it's going to suck. And Scotty, bless his heart, he's just thinking about his family and everything. That's all he could think about, is making sure that he had as much guaranteed money as possible. I get it. I really get it. But my God, did that hurt him real freaking quick. And if there was ever a time, I get it, number 1, 2, 3 steals, rebound, assists, and all, I get it. But if there was ever a time where, while you're trying to renegotiate your contract, but also come off being a team player when your team needed you the most, especially for that last dance. And the way Pippen was just conducting himself, again, as a fan in real time when all of that was going on, I had lost so much respect for Scotty. I understood that he was trying to get paid. I really did. But I just felt that the way that he was going about, conducting it was just, it was wrong. And we heard rumblings over the years that Scotty, their surgery, that he really could have opted not going to have until after the season, but he was kind of, I want to kind of play this out. I want to kind of milk the system a little bit, but to hear Scotty in his own words, yeah, I did, and these were, it just, like, really, dude, really, like, this is how you're gonna be rolling. But to relive the moment there where Michael Jordan, young Michael Jordan with hair, playoffs against the Boston Celtics, game 1 puts up 49 freaking points, but they lose, and he's playing golf, comes right back for game 2, and he does 63 points, and you got freaking Larry Bird. I remembered that shit, man. I remember that shit. Yeah, Larry Bird. It's just Jesus disguised as Michael Jordan. I remember that shit. I remember it, man, as if it was yesterday. It was nice to see and I know we're just 2 episodes in, but it was nice to see just the cold, ruthless persona that Michael Jordan had. I mean, he just had that killer instinct. He just had that, I'm going to come at you, and I'm going to come at you hard. I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to go all out there. I'm going 110%. Not 100. No, I'm going 110%. I am fully invested in just the way he would be able to just, mini games, just the way he would be able to just will his team, just put them on his shoulders and just, but when you look at those early years of Jordan just he couldn't do it all alone. He couldn't. He needed help, and to see Pippen and everybody else that would come in the later years, it was a really great team that you had, and it was awesome as a fan watching their first three-peat and then their second three-peat. And I tell you, if it wasn't for Jordan's dad dying, and which I hope they chronicle during this, because I think that really had changed the entire landscape, because you just can't help but wonder, if Jordan's dad did not pass, what would have happened with Jordan and the Bulls? Would they have continued their dominance there and winning championships? Most importantly, that three-peat. Reinsdorf, Krause. All right, let's put our egos aside here. Let's see if these guys, you know what? Let's not break them up. Let's leave them intact. And if they lose, when they lose, then we go on ahead and we blow it up. But the fact that they were able to do a three-peat, let them keep doing this until they lose. Then we could go ahead, break it all up. Jordan is still a young guy. We got a couple more years we can get out of him. Let's get some new pieces. I really wish they would have thought of that, but this was a serious case where the egos really got in the way. And I tell you, that franchise just was never the same. It was never the same. And, hopefully something else that they'll talk about too. At least tease it a little bit or whatnot. But if they could ever do a spinoff from A Football Life, I would like to see A Basketball Life. I would really love for them to do something for Phil Jackson. I don't think it gets enough praise. I don't think it gets talked about enough. But for him to go from winning the championships with the Bulls to going over to the Los Angeles Lakers. And for me, when I left Chicago, like fall of 90, going into 91, and I was in California, for that year and everything. I remember how it was for the sports teams, Lakers. I remember vividly Magic Johnson announcing, the HIV and everything. I remember all of that very, very vividly. But I tell you what, man, after the three-peat thing went down with the Bulls, and then to hear that Phil Jackson was going to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, I watched all the Lakers games that I could possibly watch because I knew talent when I saw it. And for me, seeing what Jackson was able to do with the Bulls, I mean, look, let's understand something here. Pat Riley, and it was great seeing Pat Riley in there. Pat Riley, I mean, he did good with the Bulls. But there was something with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was able to take them to that next freaking level. I don't know what it was, but Phil Jackson was able to take them to that next level. But I thought Pat Riley was a damn good coach as well, in his own freaking right. And yeah, it was good. It was really good. The 2-part special was really good. This coming Sunday, they're going to be talking about Dennis Rodman. Tell me something I don't know. That's how I'm approaching these episodes, because I lived through it all in real time. So, I know they did a 30 for 30 on Dennis Rodman, which I recommend in anticipation of part 3 of The Last Dance coming up this week. I recommend you guys go out of your way, you check that out. And little FYI for you guys, little tip. If you guys, depending on your game console, for those of you that got an Xbox or a PlayStation game console, you guys can download the ESPN app, and it looks like you don't have to pay to watch some of their archives that they got. You can actually watch the first couple of episodes of The Last Dance. You can actually watch the 30 for 30 on Dennis Rodman. You don't need to log in and any of that stuff. The only time you need to log in is when you're actually trying to watch ESPN live in real time, or if you're trying to access content on ESPN Plus. That's when you're going to need to do some type of a sign up / login. I don't know. I tried seeing if the ESPN app was maybe available for apps, for files, in their own little widget place, and it doesn't look like it is. So, phone, computer, whatever device, check it out. It's worth it. Just so you can, in anticipation of the Rodman episode, just so you can kind of, okay, well, I already know this. What can you tell me that maybe I don't know? But because that's where I'm at right now. I'm curious, what are they going to be able to tell me about Dennis Rodman that I don't know? Because I lived through it all and everything. I hope they cover the stint that he had in wrestling a little bit as well. That'd be kind of interesting for them to kind of tap into a little bit. But it's nice going down memory lane, and I know everybody's talking about LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. I know everybody's having that discussion right now. I think it's a matter of opinion. I think if you were old enough to remember all of those great moments in Michael Jordan's career, what he was able to do for those 13 years with the Bulls, there's no denying that as far as a mega freaking pop star, a icon, a piece of Americana, no doubt about it, Michael Jordan is at the very top of that list. You're never going to see anything. The closest that you maybe came to Michael Jordan, my personal opinion, just everything that I've seen so far in basketball, going back to being a young kid in the 80s, I would say that the closest I've seen somebody come to Michael Jordan, maybe Kobe Bryant. But that whole, who's the GOAT, I think it's a matter of opinion. And, you also got to just think about the respected eras as well. For the respected era that Jordan had came in there and everything, I mean, he really took it to that next level. I think the timing of this documentary is awesome. I really do, because it's a reminder and cementing the fact of just how good of a player and a pop culture icon Michael Jordan was. And in some instances, you could kind of be reminded of how LeBron James is trying to a degree to, he's chasing after MJ. And yeah, if he could stay healthy and everything, he's probably going to crack a few more. But, not for nothing, there's just some things that LeBron may be able to accomplish before his career is out that he may surpass Jordan on. But, one thing that you're never going to be able to take away from Jordan, this guy went to the finals and he's like fucking undefeated basically. I mean, weird fucking stats when when he got the right team together and everything is what I'm talking about. It's like when you look at those earlier years, he didn't have help. You can kind of make the argument, but I'm telling you, once he got the pieces, he's got the better ratio record than LeBron James has and everything. Now, could LeBron change that in these upcoming years? He really could. I think for me, if you were to ask me straight up, because I have no allegiance to any basketball team. There's a handful of basketball teams I follow every single year and have been since I was a kid. If you ask me, Lee, in your estimation, what does LeBron James have to do in your eyes to be in the same conversation with Michael Jordan? What does he need to do in your eyes? Win 3 more championships. That's really it. Just win 3 more championships. That's it. For me to say, no, right next to Michael Jordan on the Mount Rushmore, yeah, that's what I would say. He needs to win 3 more championships. Because, he's a 3-time NBA champion right now. 2012, 2013, 2016. 3-time NBA Finals MVP for those same respected years that I just mentioned and everything. Yeah, for me, he's got to win 3 more championships. Technically 4. Because if you really want to be technical, okay, do you want to just be equaled to Jordan, or do you want to surpass Jordan? So, for me, in my estimation, just to get people talking, he needs to win 3 more NBA championships. And then, to be the first, he needs to win 1 more. So, 4 total, I feel. 35 years of age, he may be able to do that. With everything that we know right now with science and medicine and everything. These athletes, they've been able to last a lot longer, people. A lot longer. So, anything is freaking possible, man. But we need this right now. It's nice being able to have something sports related that we can dive into. And I'll tell you something else that was really refreshing as well. Watching Scott Van Pelt. I've been watching Scott Van Pelt off and on for the past year, but I've been coming around to him more and more. I like the guy. I like his style of interviewing and everything. Good personality. I like the dude. I follow a little bit of his stuff on social media. Good dude. It was nice seeing him interview Steve Kerr, but also the journalist people as well. I wish I could remember their names right now, but it was nice hearing him interview Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr saying, hey, I wouldn't have everything that I have right now if it wasn't for my tenure with the Chicago Bulls, working, with Michael Jordan and having an awesome coach in Phil Jackson and everything that I was able to learn from him, and how, this opportunity that I have as a head coach, it would not have happened. Everything that's come my way since my time with the Bulls would not have even been possible if I didn't have the opportunity to work with any of those people. And even mentioning his days as a color commentator, because he was a phenomenal color commentator as well. I'm happy I was able to see a good majority of his color commentating, because he really was. He really took you inside the mind of a player and did it oh so well. He was exceptionally great at that position. Exceptionally great. I was actually upset when he got the head coaching job for the Warriors, because it was, oh man, I'm not gonna hear him in his color commentating anymore. But it was nice going down memory lane on those first 2 episodes. Tony Kukoc, Ron Harper, Horace Grant, man, all those dudes, man. It was just nice going down memory lane. And to think we got 8 more episodes to go. They're going to show episode 3 and 4 this Sunday. Can't wait. It's going to be some good shit. Looking forward to it. Very rare. Look, you get me on a particular topic and it's sports related, I can pretty much run all fucking night with it. We'll definitely be talking a lot more Bulls and all that when these documentaries come about, but that's enough for now. I'm gonna go ahead. We were supposed to have about an hour 15, an hour 30 minutes, and sometimes we get a show like this where we go into these different avenues. And I hope you appreciate it. I really do, because as long as you guys are having a good time, you're enjoying yourselves, then for me, the time restraint, I could care less about it, But next show at this point, gonna be live Wednesday, the 23rd. We'll be on, Wednesday the 22nd. I apologize, because it's already the 21st, Tuesday. So Wednesday the 22nd, I'll be back live with you guys again. I'll be live covering NXT and AEW Fall. And the way things are looking right now, by the way, cast your vote. I got a poll on YouTube. Head on over to the communities tab and you can cast your vote that way. I've got a poll asking you guys, what do you want to see happen with the Wednesday show? And the question I'm asking you guys is, it follows up on what was discussed on this past Sunday's Wrestling with the Topics, as I was trying to figure out if the Wednesday show covering AEW, NXT, and other wrestling and non-wrestling related topics should continue airing on Wednesday nights, because my schedule is kind of, the way it's looking right now, Wednesday nights, I'm definitely working the new job and everything. So it looks as though if we were to do a show Wednesday night for you guys, the latest I would come on is 11 p.m. So your options when you go over there to the communities tab and you vote, yes, 11 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays is fine. I'll check it out live. Second option, no, do a show when you have an off day, basically a day off from work. So it could come later in the week. No, just release an audio show on demand and downloads. Other, leave comment with suggestions below, because maybe there's something I'm not thinking about that you want to bring to my attention that I should consider. So cast your vote there. And the way things are looking right now, I'm going to say there will be a show Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. So mark it down, Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. If you're subscribed on the YouTube channel, which I really recommend you guys, if you are listening to the show on demand and on the downloads, the audio format, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And when you're able to, interact with me during the webcast, because it's nice to be able to see the person that you hear every single week, right? And I can't stress it enough. If you enjoyed the show, please, something that helps out a ton is giving a like. If there's something that you need me to work on, something to improve upon, leave a comment. I do take constructive feedback as long as it's constructive and it's most helpful. I appreciate that as always. Subscribing helps as well. And click on the bell icon. Make sure you select all notifications so you know when we go live for you guys. But that is going to do it for now. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. Those of you waiting for the audio version of this, I'll have this available. I'll say Tuesday evening is when I'll have it be available. I'm just going to kick back and relax for the rest of the night. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night, morning as well, depending on where you are. And until next go around, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Please stay the fuck at home if you can help it. Much love, guys. Take care.